Hello and welcome to this week's episode of House of Tremere, episode 9. I hope you're excited for some great Tremere chaotic goodness, which I'm sure won't end in horrible tragedy for a number of individuals, uh, some of which may be here at the very moment. Let's introduce them, shall we? This week, why don't we start off with an introduction of our good Catholic boy, Kess?
Oh no, I'm first. Hi, I'm Emily. I play Kess, and I'm hoping this session goes better than the last one with him.
That is fair enough. Right. Up next, our empowered new regent, Geordie. Why don't you introduce us to yourself?
Everyone taking time, Bob. I play Jordy, the middle manager of the chantry.
Very nice. And next up, our mysterious master of the cards, Maruna. Why don't you introduce us to yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Ree. I play Maruna. Sure, we'll be drawing more tarot cards tonight, like we do almost every night. And yeah, very excited to get started.
Very nice. And next up, our dear, inquisitive, technologically advanced Hasib. Why don't you give us an introduction to yourself?
Sure. I'm Zach. I'll be playing Hasib, the perpetual student, the innocent young lad who is quickly losing innocence points per session, like very quickly. It's leaving. Um, so I'm sure we're gonna lose some tonight. Actually, I have it planned, so I'm excited.
Fun. And the quantifiable, spectacular doctor of the mind and of the flesh, Dr. Quangle. Why don't you introduce us to yourself?
Hello, I am Cyberbro. I'll be playing Dr. Quangle. And have you taken your vitamins?
It's an important question everyone needs to ask. Uh, and I am myself. Hello, I am Mark, aka the CatsMeow. This is my channel where I run fun TTRPG adventures with my friends. I hope you enjoy what I'm sure will be an interesting session, as it seems there are a number of things on the table that will, I'm sure, go perfectly fine, and there won't be any catches at all. I think with that, we can jump straight in with a recap. So, who would like to lead today's recap of last session?
I can.
All right then, go ahead, Cyberbro.
All right. So, last session, it started with a meeting, as most of our sessions do. Kess was not present. He was off doing whatever it is that Kess does. I'll get to that a little bit later. However, we had a meeting where Jordy our good buddy Jordy put out a couple of rules and reminded everyone else of rules. One important rule being you have to go out with a buddy. You can't leave by yourself. So always have a buddy. After the meeting, Jordy and Maruna went to, I would assume, Jordy's office, where Maruna pulled out the tarot card deck, as she is known to do. She then promptly had a seizure, which vampires are not known to do. Jordy did not go get medical assistance. He just sat there and watched her have a seizure. um, in the midst of her seizure, she had a vision. I think this was another vision of the Flesh Man. So the vampire or thing that is that has no skin. Um, the vision, the seizure was over. Oh no, he didn't just watch. He actually had her pinned to the ground. So I guess so she wouldn't like hurt
I would
herself.
just like to
Uh,
preference, because I didn't say this last time. Do not do this. If someone is having a seizure, look up the proper procedure. Do not pin them to the ground. Thank you.
yes, yes.
Unless they're a
Don't pin them.
vampire.
Unless they- yes. So Jordy pins her to the ground. Don't do that. So a little bit of time passes, and then the group that was at the chantry met up to kind of do some research into Maruna's visions, where my character, Dr. Quangle, explained that Samitsi vampires of sufficient rank and ability can make themselves look like fiends, or they're known as fiends, if I'm not mistaken. Um, while all of that's going on, you know, the nerds are in the library, but Kess is cool. Kess goes to church, all right, because that's what cool kids do. So Kess is at the church, just letting out all of his issues at confession, which, you know, everybody needs their form of therapy. Kess leaves, and who's out there? None other than Caius with his red tie. They have a small conversation where Caius instructs Kess to get the blood from everyone in in the chantry. I would assume Kess didn't feel good about it from watching the scene here on the stream. But hey, if you want to know, go to the Cat's Meow Twitch channel and watch some old videos. So a little bit of time passes. Kess returns. We have another meeting. We have a lot of meetings here. Our region forces us to have another meeting where prior to this second meeting, the regent received letters for a few members of the chantry, himself and Dr. Quangle. The regent comes up with another rule, being that there are no secrets and we have to just let everything out. So at meeting number two, Jordy gives Quangle his letter. Quangle's letter is from his estranged wife that he is forced to read out in front of everyone, and also explain the concept of marriage between a man and a woman to the regent and to the greater group. After this happens, Jordy and Quangle have a powwow. Hopefully, some understanding was gained there. But Quangle was not too happy about having to read a letter from his estranged wife. Kess comes in. Kess is feeling Kess does not agree with Jordy's proposed method of dealing with Caius, which is to take him out, which that appears to be because Kess is afraid of Caius. A conversation ensues. Jordy determines that Dominate is not taking action on Kess. Kess is not under the thrall of a domination, and Quangle determines through a medical role that Cass has PTSD, and Cass is very sad, like medically sad, not just like personality thing. It's a medical thing. Um, so a little bit of therapy occurs, and Cass agrees to taking out Caius, and that's where I believe our session ended. Got a little rambly there, so sorry about that.
Oh, good. Wonderful recap. Is there any other points people would like to raise?
Oh
I
yeah,
take it.
Hasib has a freaking camcorder. Sorry about that. Hasib has a camcorder, and he's not a camcorder. It's a voice recorder, and he's supposed to give that to the quartermaster.
He's supposed to, but
But yeah,
you
he
know,
hasn't.
he has it. I mean, yeah. Plus, yeah, museum heist. It's gonna be great. We're gonna win the day. It's gonna be fine.
All right.
Oh yeah,
Then.
I've got a date with my I got a date with my estranged wife. I got to do that. Yeah, sorry.
Yup. All the fun stuff. Nothing like your past coming back to haunt you. I'm sure it won't happen again. Uh, I think with that, we can jump right in. Before that, though, we're going to start off with something that I tend to forget. Each of you are going to roll me a d10.
Pretty solid. So, well, I don't know what number is solid, but ones don't look right to me. So we all look pretty decent.
I think we are still waiting on. There we go.
I wasn't in roll 20. I did quickly do
Ah.
that.
Oh, good. right then. Well, with those rolls on the table, let us begin. We focus in on a radio within the chantry. We watch as a hand turns the dial, and we hear it splutter to life. A voice, familiar to us now, comes through, cool, collected, energized, ready to continue the night. We're deep in the velvet hours now, the kind where your voicemail fills up with confessions and your pillow remembers names you wish you didn't. I had a line open for the brave and the broken. Let's see who's still out there. We hear the click of a line connection as another voice speaks in. It's Mike. Oh, my favorite repeat offender. Back again to spread the cheer and warm fuzzies, huh? You think this is a joke? Every night you push this haze. People need clarity, not countdowns. They're sleepwalking. And you're just the lullaby. Well, Mike, I prefer to think of myself as a gentle nightlight in the dark, twisted little city. Beats being the little guy, shouting in the basement. You're keeping them soft, fat on nostalgia. You're the voice they hear while things move beneath their feet. You ever wonder what's really listening out there? Alright. And we're out of time for Mike's Minute. That's 2 calls and 2 nights, buddy. Take a nap or take up poetry or something. Hear a click as the line drops. Some people just don't like love songs, I guess. Speaking of which, here's one for all the hearts on the mend. Low, stormy, and so full of ache, it might just crack the sky. From 1996, Tony Braxton, Unbreak My Heart. Let it hurt, then let it heal. A dramatic piano begins, smooth and sorrowful, as the night presses on. And with that, we continue where we last left off. As we focus in on the smoking room, where we see Hasib is currently fiddling with the radio. As the sound of Unbreak My Heart plays within the room. Who would be left in the room, out of curiosity? I think at this moment it's just Quangle, Maruna, and Hasib, as the 2 others were having a private meeting in Geordie's office.
Probably Marina would likely be there.
Yeah, I think we could say Quangle will be in the smoking room.
Yeah, Hasib's there, and Hasib already has something on his mind that the incessant questions begin. If these 3 people are in here, he'll the radio will be playing, and he turns to Quangle and he says, "Well, before I get to all the research, I am getting my little station set up. I know the others are going to the museum. I think I have something where I could help from a distance for that. Are you 2 ready for your meeting with the estranged wife? I did not even know you were married, Dr. Quengle."
Mark, question: the meeting in the museum heist that takes place the following day. We're still in at nighttime, right?
Yeah, we're still nighttime on Sunday. Again, we're currently around midnight, so a lot of places have closed down, and it is. Well, you could seek out your wife. Probably more likely than not, she would be asleep at this time of night.
Yeah. So then Quango will look to Hasib. Is one ever ready to conduct such a meeting? I don't know. I hope that I am.
If there's anything I can do to make it easier in any way, let me know.
I thank you for your consideration. However, this is a bridge I must cross. A conflict I have to walk into.
Hasib scratches his head for a second. Wait, perhaps I don't have enough notations on this, none at all, really. Is your wife, well, a kindred, or mortal, or something else?
I lived a life, Hasib, prior to the embrace. I had the respect of every doctor in the Tri-County area. I lived a life. But to answer your question, more than likely she is mortal. I was embraced after we became estranged.
I see. I mean, that is probably the more likely kind of situation. Our kind, do we get married? Do people like us get married? And he kind of looks between the two.
Generally, bonds are made. If one is capable.
Make an intelligence occult if you guys would like to. Difficulty 8.
Cool. Good choice of song tonight, Mark. I love that song.
Four successes.
Oof.
Well, luckily ones don't count for this, as it is a knowledge roll.
Right. Then it's
Uh,
just a net 0.
Steve, you remember reading about these during your education. They do exist, and they're called blood marriages. They are heavily looked down upon, and in fact, in most Camarilla cities, are considered outlawed. It is a process in which two individuals are blood bonded to each other to an extreme degree. In the old times, it was used as a way of creating an alliance between one or two clans or groups, but often it ends in horrible death and bloodshed, as the blood bond generally drives people mad at that point, especially over the decades and centuries of having that affected in your mind.
Hasib, he kind of nods to himself as he remembers. Well, at least perhaps if they do happen, they go the more normal routes, like the mortals do with the marriage, and less of the mixing of blood and bonds and eventual destruction of everything in the relationship. So, yeah. Your wife is estranged. Is this because of the embrace? I mean, you
No.
afterward, but there could be some preparation. Some people are ghouls before they are embraced.
No, I was not a ghoul before I was embraced. Hasib, she has no relation to my life as, well, my unlife as a kindred. She's from a different time. I was a different Quango.
Do you ever miss it?
Miss what before? Being
Your life?
I, Quingle gets thoughtful for a second. Yes. Yes, I do miss aspects of it. You must understand, I was well respected in my field. I had a loving wife, a daughter, he says, staring off into the middle distance. And now I have none of those things.
Sorry.
Not more than I am.
But that does not mean you will always not have them, right? I mean, things are changing now, and you know, we are a family here, but we do live for a long time. Things can change, you know, with enough ability and perhaps strength. We can keep connections to our old families as long as we can make sure there's no masquerade breaches, right?
I'm glad you finished that sentence, Steve. I thought you were implying that I could make another child.
I'm not sure about the mechanics. Well, I mean, technically, I have read about those, but between us and mortals, I'm not sure if it's possible.
No, it's no, Hasib.
Marina kind of is gonna she's looking at Dr. Quangle and she kind of has a hunch. Forgive me for asking, and if it's too personal, then by all means feel free to ignore the question, but your daughter, is she gone?
Dramatic pause. Ooh, can I roll a die on this? If this is Pendragon, I'd be rolling. I'm like, I don't know. Cyberbro may want something, but Quenko doesn't want something, you know? Man?
Are you trying to hide your emotions?
I don't know whether Quangle would answer the question or deflect. His emotions are pretty bare, but I don't know if Quangle would.
You could
would
do
deflect
a.
or hide.
Oh, you could do a conscience roll.
So is that intelligence? A
It's a
conscience,
virtue.
Oh, a virtue. Ooh, how do I
It's
do that?
its own thing. Do we have?
Well,
There should be roll
okay,
willpower,
conscience.
path,
Yep.
virtues.
Okay. Willpower, path, virtues, conscience, conviction, submit. No modifier. Difficulty 6, I guess.
You can put the difficulty wherever you want it to be.
Yeah, let's make it a 6. No willpower. Sad Q. It's a sad Quaker roll.
Ooh, that's a failure of your conscience. So you would do the thing that is inhuman. So I think in this case, the the cold doctor wins out.
The child is no longer with us. Yes, the child has died. He says, like, very cold. It is a matter of fact.
Hush, Bob. Hush.
That's terrible. I'm so sorry.
This has happened. There is nothing to be sorry about, Hasib. You had nothing to do with it. Such is the nature of being mortal. Your flesh withers, your mind goes. These things happen.
understand.
With that being said, I'm not going to be able to make the 2 p.m. meeting tomorrow, Mark, because the sun's out and I'm a vampire. Is it possible to either call tonight to the hotel to leave a message, or I could do
I think
that?
you can do that.
Okay. Um, yeah, so I think Quangle would excuse himself and then go off to do that. Probably leave a message, but yeah.
All right. In that case, Maruna and Hasib, you are left in the room.
I always had a feeling something had happened with him.
It certainly couldn't be easy. I don't really know the feeling of having children, but I have read statistics on families and what happens after the death of a child. It's not great.
You might not know what it's like to have children, but you know what it's like to have a family, a loving family.
Hasib smiles for a second. I do. It would be terrible for everyone if something like this were to happen. What can we do? Should we do something for Dr. Quangle? We can as he looks around like there's an answer written on the wall.
Maruna just kind of shakes her head and says, things like this need to happen in their own time. I don't think he's ready yet to accept help. We can just be there for him when he is.
I don't know how to tell when he is going to be ready, but I will do my best to recognize. I'll prepare a few things for the event.
Sure. This was the first step. For him to even admit it. Things are complicated. Emotions are complicated.
They are, and the books are never very clear on them. It's very difficult to get finite answers, and you're going to be accompanying Dr. Quangle to the meeting, right? With the estranged wife. How I hope
I
that
intend
goes well.
to stay out of the way as much as possible.
It's probably wise, being it is a family matter, I suppose. Just be careful. I think it is peculiar timing that this meeting is to occur when everything is falling apart, and well,
That's why no one's going alone. Hasib, you know that there are some things that you can't learn from books, right?
really, there's a lot of books out there. I know our library doesn't have all of them, so perhaps if we keep adding.
There are a lot of books, and I love books, but matters of the heart, of people, emotions, these aren't always things you can just read about. You have to let yourself feel them sometimes without any strings attached, without trying to find a way to fix it, a way to find a solution. Sometimes emotions are not something to fix, they just are.
Hasib blinks like you just gave him an unsolvable equation, and he's looking at ways to solve it. Still,
At this point,
I-
entering into the room is Geordie and Cass.
Jordy left before me. I was sitting on the floor
Oh,
of his office.
then Geordie arrives.
Oh, Regent. I hope preparations are going well. We were discussing matters, and soon I will be getting back to my research.
Good. As soon as you can, Hasib. Did I interrupt something?
No. Just a discussion. You're welcome to join.
I'll go see to a few things before we go. How far are we out from that again, Mark? From the actual trip to the museum? I forget.
I think it's tomorrow.
You can alternatively do it tomorrow when the museum's actually open, or you can attempt to break in while it's closed.
I think we talked about doing it when it's open. Was the plan?
Then it would have to be
Yeah. And if we want to catch the lecture side of it, is Thursday. So we would have to wait several days.
And what's the current time? Look at the clock.
The current time, it's about 12:30 a.m.
Is there
Or go ahead.
is there anything to look after tonight?
I'm happy to help Hasib with the research. I can specifically research any sort of divinatory magic that we wanted to do.
We might as well all stay busy. We're far from out of this.
Yeah. I think that's all we can really do until tomorrow, right?
Indeed. I'll leave you to it then. That he'll step out.
Oh, before you do, sir, Regent,
He stops.
before you all leave for the museum that I have previous association with, we could talk for a moment. I think I could assist from here slightly. I may have in my processes of my project with the Bitegeist, left a back door from into the system there. So I could have possible access to the cameras. I don't know what exactly you're doing there. I, in the past, may have looked at a few exhibits as they changed them out, so I don't have to leave the chantry to do so. And Hasib kind of like shrinks a little bit as he's waiting for reprimand.
What do you mean swap them out?
Oh, every so often the museum has new exhibits, and many of them are fascinating. I like to see them. From the comfort of my computer desk.
CB, you realize that this is exactly why we avoid technology in the chantry?
What, learning about artifacts in arts from the comfort of home?
Being monitored without realizing who has access. Security risk.
I've put plenty of safeguards in place. I assure you. There shouldn't be able to get back to who I am or where I am. But I get the concern. Yes, but this is a useful tool. Like in this case, when you guys go to the museum, perhaps I can help.
And how would we stay in contact?
A cell phone, perhaps? if you, I don't know what exactly you're going to need when you go to the museum, but you know, I think it was that Kess that had one. I saw at one point.
We'll let Kess handle that part.
Perfect, sir. Let me know how I can assist, and I'm sure perhaps I could speak with Kess as well. I already have his cell phone number, so that is good.
Are you waiting for approval, Magistrate? Magister.
Yes.
Quartermaster.
In a way, to assist in this manner, tomorrow or whenever we decide on approaching the seed in the museum.
I'm not exactly strong in technology. I'll leave it to Kess to make the call. You have my permission to speak to Mr. Price.
Wonderful. I will speak with the head of security, Kess, and I am sure he will see the fruits of my labors in the past and how they can help us now.
And with that, Jordy bows and steps out. How's his head, rather?
Does he? Do you need any help? Is there anything I can do?
Yes. Well, it's going to be research, I suppose. Lots of research. We have like 3 or 4 things to look into. So, if you wanted to help,
Of course. To the library then?
to the library. And Hasib will. He loves going to the library, so he'll power walk.
She'll go along.
All right then. I think with that, we can move into a more non-linear time frame as we focus in on what characters are doing for the rest of the night. Is there anything? Well, first of all, the 2 things I want to clarify is there anyone here trying to learn a ritual? Is there anyone here trying to research a ritual? And is there anyone here trying to do something else? Jordy? Oh, go ahead.
I think
Go ahead.
Jordy makes alternate arrangements with his herd to feed. So to have
Alright.
them show up.
Can do, easily enough.
Never mind, I don't have a herd apparently. I must have
Oh.
cut it out from my list. I will then instead. We have a rule not to go out. I'll see. Do you want that asking in character with somebody, or does someone just want to volunteer for a partner hunt?
It depends how you want to do it. If you want to do a scene about, you can, but you can also just be like, he picks this person to go with him. You are in charge. Tell them and they'll do it.
I mean,
Yeah.
Quangle would go with Jordy. If he could just make that phone call to his wife's hotel first, he'll go with Jordy and dine on the flesh of mortals.
All right. In that case,
Kids, get the house.
Yeah. Invite all
The
the kids
super
over for
eyes!
parties.
Forget everything else. The kids are partying.
That was the goal. That was the goal.
exactly. Goal achieved. All right then. With that, how does the Regent of the Chantry hunt? Describe to us his style. What kind of people does he go after? What prey does he prey off of?
I think he would probably be a little more like a Ventru in the way he feeds. I think he would seek probably he probably avoids the poor, as awful as that sounds. He probably seeks too much risk with drugs, so he would seek like uh, and actually might avoid like the Wall Street looking guys too. Again, too much risk of drugs. So I think he would probably seek like everyday people, you know, like someone who looks like a mother or a father, especially because he's not going to kill them in the process.
All right. First of all, what's your hunger at the moment? How much percentage of your total pool is filled?
Do, do, do. I have that's wrong for max blood. I have 10 right now.
Okay. So you should be fine
And,
considering what your max blood is.
Yeah, this is more
But-
precautionary given tomorrow's events.
It is smart. Why don't you roll me a perception and empathy to find yourself a suitable target? As you're being particularly picky, so it's going to take you a while to seek out a target that fits your tastes.
I almost laughed, but then I realized Jordy actually has empathy because it's reading other people's
Yeah.
expressions. Okay. What's
He's
up?
not empathetic.
No,
Read the-
no, he's not. All right, here we go.
So this song is almost Ave Maria. Not quite. Ooh.
One
success.
if
Is not a failure because it's not a supernatural roll. Alright then. So it does take you some time to look around for the specific target you're looking for, especially this time of night. Most people like that are asleep in bed in their homes. And there's a point where you consider that you might have to break into somebody's house to feed. So I will say you have a choice. You can either attempt to break into someone's house to feed, or you can spend extra long and eventually find the person you're looking for. But it will take up most of the night for you. And Quangle.
yeah, what's Quangle's thoughts on this? Because that's Jordy's intentions. I think he makes that known.
Yeah, I think Quangle's just along for the ride. He would explain to Jordy, you know, there are blood banks and places like that. We can just go and we go around the back and dominate the person, and then we get blood there. They scream the blood, but at the end, he would acquiesce to what Jordy wants to do. As his
Like
nature
at
anyways.
midnight, and he says back, and then continues and kind of ignores Quangle.
Two peas in a pod, man.
I know.
Like Turner and Hooch or something. This is wild.
Yeah. So I think Jordy will aim to stake out longer and see if he can.
Alright. It takes you about 2 hours, but eventually you find someone who's in the wrong place at the wrong time of night. Or rather, the right place for you. How does Geordie normally take his targets? By force? By domination? Why don't you describe it to us?
I think it's dominate for sure. Dominate employed.
All right.
He'll present in front of them at some point, and then when they look in his eyes, he says something like freeze. And they just are frozen, and he walks around behind them and sinks his teeth in their neck, licks the wound close.
All right. How much blood do you take?
Given what I'm at, 4.
Okay. I will say that is enough to leave someone delirious and in need of hospital care. Or medical care.
Is
rather.
3 the one that's less extreme? Is 3 less extreme?
3 is a little less extreme. 2 is the one where they should be fine. But yeah, essentially you're taking like quite a bit of blood with 4 points because humans only usually have around 10.
We'll go with 3 and risk it.
All right. Take 3 points of blood, and by the end of it, they seem quite woozy and very out of it.
And with that, I'll continue on.
All right. You just drop them in the street.
Like they can't stand on their own, sort of thing.
Well, they're like stumbling.
I'll walk them to like the nearest bus bench and sit them down.
Okay.
So Jordy will take this person under, with his with their arm over him, and kind of guides them to the seat, sets them down, and then we'll walk off like that didn't just happen.
All right. With that, why don't you roll me a d10 and tell me high or low?
Oh, I'm supposed to tell you first. I'll say high. I got low though.
All right. So as you place the body down, you hear a voice from behind you. Having a late night?
I'll stop. Jordy stops and...
Looks like your friends had a bit too much to drink. Or maybe that's you.
I'll turn around at this point to see who he's... See who
As
it
you
is
turn
that's
around,
talking.
make me an intelligence politics. And as you do, I'll describe what you see. As you see a man in dark spiked leathers, a number of patches that have been sewn on of different bands as well as symbols. A couple of them are like your classic kind of anarchy symbols. Other of them are a lot more obscure. You can see he's wearing what looks to be large combat boots that have blue laces. Looking about this person, you're sure you've seen them before, but their exact name doesn't come to mind. You think they're one of the Bruja, though, judging by the appearance and also the pale color to their skin.
I'm not sure we've met.
Oh, we've met. Or at least I've seen you before. You're,
It's possible.
What's your name? That's right. Fuckface. How's the other fuckfaces going?
I'm in the area, right? I just wanna
You
make
are.
sure.
You can see this happening. You can also make an intelligence politics if you would like.
Gotcha.
On the grounds that you have politics.
You know, I've read about where you all came from. Carthage and the high society you once held, place amongst the high clans. They call you rabble. I really, really fit the part.
Then you cannot roll, Dr. Bible. You don't know who this is. As you say that, he just leans into you and he says, I guess lucky for you, I don't give a fuck.
How close is he at this point?
He's, like, maybe about a meter away. But you're pretty sure he could close distance.
I want to position myself because I assume they're in the alley with the interloper between Jordy and
Actually, this is
myself.
at the bus stop.
Oh, at the bus
So this
stop?
is in plain
yeah.
view.
Yeah. Well, Quangles walked out of the shadows, but he wants to make sure that the person we don't know is in between him and then Jordy's on the other side,
All right.
announcing his presence.
He kind of looks over his shoulder before he looks back to you, Jordy, and he goes, one of yours?
One of ours.
You know, it's funny. They call us the rabble. But I think it would be more fitting to call us the revolution.
Yes, the revolution. I can see it now. Cities freed by the bourgeois. What will you bring in? What do you offer? Chaos? If you didn't have clans to rebel against, you'd have nothing at all.
Oh, we bring more than just chaos. We bring freedom. Of course, you wouldn't understand that now, would you, fuckface?
No, we like to follow the rules.
That's right. That's right. I gotta say, it's quite fascinating. You know, I'm curious about you, your people. At what point did they castrate you? You know, remove your fucking balls?
I don't think that's really how it played out. You see, we were more useful than you, and that's why we are where we are.
Is that so?
If you'd like, I could give you a live demonstration. I am trained in matters of the flesh.
He turns around. Oh. I got a question for you. Do you know what that question is?
I don't particularly care.
Who fucking asked you?
You're a lively one. I like that.
Is that so? So why don't you shut up and sit the fuck down, bootlicker? I'm talking to this one over here. As he turns around.
When he turns
Okay.
around, I've locked eyes at him, and I point to Quangle's boots and I say, lick.
Alright.
Get quangled.
Just be ready for the aftermath.
You do so. And he grins. Nice tray, fuckface.
Oh,
I
it
think
doesn't
my
work.
blood's thicker than
It's
yours. With that, yeah, no, he's higher than your generation. Can you make me a stamina roll?
Just by itself?
Yes. As this is like immediate as he kicks you in the chest at fast speed.
1 sec.
Or rather, celerity speed.
By the way, how you do this with a dice roller, if anyone comes across it, find something that's has 0 dots in it as an ability, and then choose that. One success.
One success. You take... No, we'll just choose the average. Make this easier. You take 3 points of lethal damage as he kicks you in the chest, and you feel your ribs crack inwards as you go flying. Quango, you watch as it's like in a flash. It's in a millisecond. Jordy goes fucking flying backwards, scraping across the ground. As you essentially watch him get kicked at super speed, before the guy turns around and looks to you and says, "Are you gonna make a problem too?"
I'm waiting, Quango says. He can't match his speed, so Quango has his arms out. Come now. I'm waiting.
He just smirks. I think you two got the point. Stay out of our fucking territory. Next time I
You
won't
could
be
have
as
just led
nice.
with that. You could have just led with that.
With that,
let me go get
he
my
starts to
drink.
walk off. As you make your way over to Jordy. Jordy, you can feel the pressure on your chest as it feels like chest is caved in.
He'll heal the wound instantly
Okay.
if it's lethal. So
Yes.
you just see it start. The cave starts to come undone as he spends the 3 blood that he just gained, and now he's pissed. I'm gonna roll something.
A little bit of self-control. The regent just got Sparta kicked into the side of a building.
We all know that. Jordy
Also, I
did
will
great.
say that was definitely a breach of the Masquerade. 100%. If anyone saw, it might be trouble. In fact, you guys can make a perception alertness roll. For you, Jordy, it will be at a difficulty of 8, but you can use your Auspex if you have it. The difficulty is 8, but it's because of your not so stable mental state at the moment.
That's a hard botch.
Fun.
I'm not sure why it rolled 3 dice when I have 5 in. That could be the wounds, though.
It might be it might be the wounds. Well, in either case, Quangle did get 3 successes. Dr. Quangle, roll me a d10. Tell me high or low.
Low.
Okay.
Right in the middle.
You do not see anyone around, except for the guy that's kind of slightly passed out again on the bus bench at the bus stop.
Do you need any medical assistance?
I'll be fine.
All right.
Remind me, Dr. Quengle, What's the last tradition? It's destruction, isn't it?
I don't
His
know.
eyes are just staring at the back of this man.
Michael, you would know that is indeed the last of the traditions for the Camarilla.
Thank you. Yes, you are correct. We have bigger fish to fry, though. We'll have a conversation with him later.
Indeed. Actually, Mark, maybe I need to check in with you because I botched that. So,
Well, you did roll a botch, but you did roll a success. Oh, well, no, for that one. Your perception rolls a botch. I can't think of anything big that would happen in this moment to do with that.
okay. Yeah, then I think he maintains just a shred of self-control. His fangs are distended, and he looks like he's ready to pounce. But there's enough in him to realize that that's probably not a fight he wants or needs to add right now.
Yeah.
Right. With that, he'll straighten up his clothing and turn and walk in the other direction.
All right. With that, we watch as you two begin to make your way back to the chantry. In the meantime, what has everyone else been up to?
So, did we have a divine, or like a divination sort of ritual that we were trying to research specifically?
There was
Because I know I was
particularly
planning to.
one ritual that was found, I believe it was researched, which was
Oh, it was.
the one
Okay.
where you can use a map to divine someone's location.
Right. Okay.
So you would have to learn the ritual itself, and it's a third level ritual, so that would take around 8 hours to learn.
Okay. And after, presumably, what time is it after the conversation? It was still like.
It was still like 12, 12:30.
So I don't quite have enough time. Can I do half of it? Can I start learning
You can
it,
do
or
half
does it
of
have
it,
to
yeah.
be in one?
No,
Okay,
you can start doing it and then continue it later on.
Okay. Great. So I'm gonna do that then.
Alright. In that case, you do about... If you do it from the time you have till the end of the night, we'll say that's about... We'll call it 6 hours into the ritual learning, so you have like 2
Okay.
hours left.
Okay.
Hasib was we're probably having a little study session in the library. Hasib was for this night he's going to do two things. One, he was learning a level 2 ritual that I already messaged you about for personal use. And then the one he's going to focus on is the key for the Regent's chest to unlock the chest, because I think it required a
Alright.
silver key and something.
Yes, it requires you to grab some things. I also need you to make a willpower roll.
Sure thing.
This will be difficulty 7.
All right. Difficulty 7.
3 successes. Alright. You actually, as you're going through the book, you find there's a step-by-step instruction on how to use the ritual that would unlock wards and such. You just need to fetch the materials for it. And you can just follow the instructions in the book without having to learn it as one of your rituals.
Perfect. I think one of the previous sessions I even had Hasib go ask the quartermaster, put in an order for a silver key. So at least that part, hopefully the quartermaster has. But yeah, Hasib will collect up the ingredients and get started right away because that mystery chest has been closed for too long.
Could you also roll me a self-control roll?
Ooh, sure. Hasib, I believe, has pretty good self-control.
This would be
I think.
difficulty 7. This will be.
Maybe. All right.
Okay, you succeed.
I'm also thinking, at least to Maruna, this is probably a very nostalgic experience right now.
Oh yes, very much.
Yeah. And I think Hasib probably, because he doesn't hide his emotions very well, and it usually bubbles over into some kind of physical tick. It looks like a couple times during our library session, he looks like he wants to broach a topic, like he'll walk over with something about to speak the words and then just sort of pivot and point at one of the books we have on the table, making a random comment about it and then sort of drifting back.
I think probably like for most of the night she's focused on learning the ritual because it requires a lot of concentration, but probably towards the end of the night, as they're like wrapping up, she'll kind of just like the next time that he does that, she would just kind of be like, Hasib, what is it?
What is what? I'm very close to finishing all the calculations in this ritual for the chest.
And that's great. I can tell that you want to talk about something and you're hesitant too. What is it?
Kind of blinks, squirming a little bit. I've been working on something for the last few weeks, really. He pulls out a picture. He pulls it out way too quick, like it was something he probably was gonna pull out or was trying to broach the whole night. And it's a picture of a couple young kids that look very familiar, because it has Hasib and Maruna and another young girl, and they seem to be standing for a little group photo. I know you gave this to me a long time ago. I have been looking into it more. I even got it verified that it wasn't altered or anything. Not to doubt you or anything, but
I'm not that good with technology, Hasib.
I know, but I needed to be sure that no one else has altered this photo or anything that they like. But anyway, it is you and I, and I suppose this is Chelsea. I went to school with her, back at a boarding school, and well, that's you, right? So it is wrong. I don't remember this at all, and I don't know what to do. I'm going to talk to my sire about it.
Be careful, Hasib. You know that memories can be altered. by our kind. Removed, even. I've never seen it on this scale, but I tried to talk to Philomena the other night. I don't think she likes me very much. She thinks I'm a bad influence.
Steve chuckles at that. That is preposterous. What could she have against you? I mean, you work in the chantry here, you know, it's not like you're out running around doing whatever Kess is doing, and he kind of like stumbles for a second as that another intrusive thought kind of breaks in the line of thinking, and he shakes his head. But um my sire just hasn't had enough time to get to know you. Clearly.
Perhaps. I'm sure she has her reasons. My start, if I can be transparent with you, my start here at the chantry wasn't like yours. It didn't happen very smoothly.
I think when we were coming back from the adventure the other night in the van, and you spoke of this, I think I understood there. Didn't quite understand it fully, but it was something I was also going to broach with my sire, because that's, if the embrace was forced upon you, that's the clan would not allow that. It's supposed to be a mutual exchange.
That's a nice thought. The thing is, when I did come here for the first time, my existence in the unlife was a subject of controversy. And your sire made it fairly clear to me which side she was on when it came to that decision. Perhaps her mind can be changed. I don't know. But let's just say that leaving me to live out my unlife in the chantry was... I didn't think of it as a mercy at the time, but it was probably the more merciful option that I could have received.
I don't understand. What did you do to deserve any of this?
I didn't do anything. I just... You need permission to embrace.
Right, yes.
Among the Tremere. My sire didn't get that.
Hasib's eyes go wide. What What do you mean? That is... What he did was illegal then? Then, who is your sire? Where is your sire? Wait, why don't I know your sire?
His name's Silas. He's not really here anymore. Usually, anyway. I see him sometimes. I don't know if it's real.
It's not here. I could come in through the abilities of aspects, I believe. Is he in another city visiting you with his spirit?
I don't know. I haven't been able to figure it out. I think maybe part of me doesn't want to. By the laws of the Tremere, a kindred who's created, who's embraced without the permission of the clan is subject to, well, to be destroyed.
But you did not choose to be embraced, and you could still, serve the clan, be a boon to the family. Why didn't they then, if this is their...
Ultimately, that was what was decided, that I would be more useful working for the chantry than eliminated entirely, but that wasn't a unanimous decision. It was just a majority. And I wasn't exactly grateful for it at the time. I didn't want to be here. I didn't want this life. I didn't want any of it. I wanted my old life. I still do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know that's not what you wanted to hear. I know that's not... I don't want to ruin your experience. I'm glad that it's been better for you. I'm glad that it went the way that it should have gone for all of us. But you deserve to know the truth, too.
Steve, would you have the blank book open?
It would be open, along with a whole bunch of others.
You find yourself looking over to it for but a moment. And as you do, your eyes particularly focus on a piece of text that simply says, "We do not choose this life, but we choose what we do with it. Make the right choice." And then as you blink again, it returns to that kind of muddled French text.
Hasib seems to be lost for a second, and he blinks. I don't think we can go back.
I know.
And in some ways we shouldn't, as clearly the clan has been failing people. So we have to go forward, and this is what we have now. We just need to do better. For the people that have been hurt, like you, especially.
I agree. I've been trying to make the best of things. Trying to move forward. I hope... I wish... There's some part of me that feels like this collapse. It was just waiting to happen. It was destiny. The pyramid, the Tremere, all of our clan's sins, I suppose, if you'd call it that, all of the misdeeds. There's only so much one structure can handle. Pyramid might be strongest of reinforcements, but even that can't withstand everything. Ecosystems have a way of... There's a cycle of creation and destruction and rebirth, and maybe this isn't a bad thing. We needed change. Now we have it.
We need to make sure we change in the right ways.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. I mean it.
I think one day I will be powerful enough and have the knowledge enough to give you that choice again. In fact, I know it.
If there's anyone that could, I think it would be you. Your sire and I agree about one thing. You are extremely intelligent and bright. And regardless of the circumstances, I'm glad that I still get to be your friend in this life too.
I am glad to, once again, I suppose, become your friend. We have a lot of catching up to do, I guess. And he like flicks the picture that's on the table now.
Me too. And she'll kind of go back to her ritual. It's getting, it's almost morning. We should finish up.
Hasib nods and gives a small smile, and he starts to say something else and then just shakes his head and goes to sit back down to pore over the books again.
For you, Maruna, one thing to notice is when you do wipe your eye, there is a tear. Which
That's probably not
normally
normal for a vampire.
isn't possible. And for you, Hasib, as you sit back down, you find yourself looking back towards the book as it says, the text rearranging. Thank you for listening. Should you need advice, ask. It then has a dash, and a name appears.
Oh.
Lord Garrett the 11th. Or Garrot the 11th.
Is that through Hasib's education? Is that a name that would be familiar in any way?
Make an intelligence and academics. This will be
All right.
difficulty 9.
Would eidetic memory help in the difficulty in any way?
Probably not.
All right. Intelligence, academics.
I will also
was
say
that
you are. Oh, this will be difficulty 9. I'll also say you are free to make connections if you believe it would make sense for your character to make them. Ones would not count for this. It's not a supernatural roll. But with one success, you're not really sure. Don't think so, at least. Doesn't seem to match anything you know from a history book or anything.
Okay. Hasib will say one last thing before we could probably conclude the scene. Maruna, sorry, the book is quite fascinating. Do you know of a Geralt the 11th? Is this, it is a name.
Would I? Is that a roll?
Academics, intelligence, difficulty 9.
Okay.
Oh,
And then
also significant name.
Hasib gets a light bulb moment as he looks towards the book like, oh, I suppose I could ask the book too.
It's more like Garot. It is French.
2 successes.
2 successes. You are pretty sure you have no idea who this is.
Okay.
Certainly no
Sorry,
name you recognize in any capacity, other than like Garot also being the name for the weapon, which is used to strangle people.
Yeah. Yeah, she'll take him. No, I'm sorry, I haven't heard that name. The book told you?
Yes. The book signed off on a little piece of advice with that name.
I'm sure it'll keep has lots of wisdom for you then.
I'll have to pay close mind to my new friend here. I haven't had a book friend before. Many books, but not a book friend.
I think it's fitting that it's you.
Steve just smiles and flips a few pages through it just to flip pages, and yeah, we could probably go from there.
Alright, great. Oh, also, Haseeb, at the end of that scene, you lose a point of temporary willpower.
No, no, it's sapping me. Worth it.
Kess, what are you up to on this night?
Being a disaster. So given the emotional state that we left Kessin and that it is the same night, nothing productive. I think he sits in Jordy's office for a bit, smokes a cigarette in there. Sorry, Jordy. And then finds one of his usual chairs in one of the common rooms. And blasts music from his CD player, I think at this point. On his like trashy headphones. That would have been really good. But, you know. So I think he's just like half laying in a chair blasting music.
Alright. I think then, as we see you kind of zoning out, enjoying the music, you then feel a tap on your shoulder.
He'll open his eyes.
You see the large, stony, almost angelic figure of Michael looming over you.
He'll take off the headset and slowly sit fully up.
Do
Can I help
you
you?
need help?
None that you can provide, Michael.
Oh. You see he looks down, kind of sad.
It's no fault of your own.
I am here to help, but I cannot. Is that not my fault?
That's not your fault. We, there are some things you can't fix.
Oh,
And that's okay.
I do
The
not think I
things-
understand.
The
As you
things
watch him kind of sit down on the ground.
Okay. What I want can't be attained.
Why can it not be attained?
Because you can't go backwards in time. It
Hmm.
doesn't work that way. The people I want gone are a little difficult to make gone, so
Hmm. So it is like a wound.
yeah, something like that. But
I
mine
was
don't.
wounded. Rooney, she gave me blood. And I felt better. And the wound closed. Isn't there a way to close the wound?
Not this kind.
Hmm.
She is good at that, though. You hang around her.
She wasn't afraid. made me not feel afraid, made me not hurt anymore.
Yeah, fear isn't one of those things I'm sure Veruna feels. But, she's okay.
Why do you feel fear if Bruni does not?
I don't know. She just doesn't.
It doesn't make sense.
No. We all feel fear, but she feels it considerably less. She's one of those people that trusts that things will be fine.
And you do not?
I know that they won't.
I see. But can't you do something to make it so it is? To change it?
They're a little better at that than me. Jordy leads. Quango keeps us from killing each other. Most of the time. Maruna trusts something divine, and Hasib is innocent. But they're good at finding things.
But what about you?
I can find things, secrets.
I see.
I can make people hurt in a different way than them, I think.
He nods. And Michael helps.
And you help, Michael.
Michael helps.
Michael doesn't have to help.
Then what should Michael do?
Whatever he wants.
What does it mean to want? Is there something Michael should want?
No. It's complicated. Michael, do you remember being made?
I remember pain.
That you don't remember a face?
No. Just pain.
He'll kind of, because Michael sat on the floor, I assume.
He sat
at
on the
this,
floor,
like,
yeah.
He just sat directly on the floor. Okay, so Kes is moving off of his chair and is now kneeling on the floor. I'll let you in on a secret, Michael. That's how I started too.
So you remember the pain?
Yes.
The humiliation. Pain.
Yes.
What were we talking about? Yes. Michael wants to help.
They humiliated you.
Who did?
It's not important.
See a confused look appear on his face.
Go ask Maruna, Michael.
Yes. I will. He stands up. Michael will help.
I believe you.
Takes a few steps before he stops. Pain. The first memories are always pain. Before he steps out of the room.
I think Kes goes to his room. Takes his obnoxiously loud music with him.
Alright. With that, we cut to Geordie and Quangle arriving back. Dr. Quangle, you've taken some time to formulate your thoughts around Geordie's current mental state. I believe you rolled 3 successes, but with 2 1s. We won't count the 1s for this one because it is not a supernatural roll. And
yes.
so I think at first his thoughts come up with some sort of narcissistic personality disorder. But that seems far too general and not necessarily correct. There is, of course, a narcissistic attitude, but whether that's the defining feature or not is the question. You wonder if there's almost perhaps some feelings of inadequacy or desire to be greater than you are. Maybe he's had something held over his head. Maybe he feels weak and has a desire to push what power he has over others to make himself feel better. It's hard to know without actually asking more questions, but these are the thoughts that pop into your head as you arrive back at the chantry.
Yes, very good. Geordie will tell me his story through his actions.
Nonetheless, by the time you get back, it is verging on 5 in the morning. So it's about ready to sleep.
Yeah, Jordy heads right to his room.
And we're assuming I called my wife's hotel to let them know that I was
Yeah,
alive
yeah,
for like dinner.
You took care of all that stuff. I assume you did to like a payphone or something.
Yeah, a payphone. I have a client. I made up some excuse.
Yeah.
Yes, and Quangle will go to his room to sleep.
All right. Is there anyone else that does anything out of the usual when it comes to preparing themselves for the day sleep?
Not particularly out of the usual, but of course I'm pulling my nightly card to meditate on.
Wonderful. Pull a card and tell me what you get.
The Page of Pentacles.
The Page of Pentacles. And it was drawn face up or face down?
Face down. Face
Sorry,
straight.
Up,
yeah.
Yeah.
Upright.
Upright, that's the right term.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Manifestation, physical opportunity, skill development. This is your chance to improve.
She takes that as a sign that she's on the right track with learning this ritual.
Very nice. Anyone else doing anything out of the ordinary? Or perhaps would like to draw attention to something they do before their day sleep? I take that as a no. World of Darkness Tarot. Do better. Well, funnily enough, it could have been done in reverse, which represents lack of progress, procrastination, and learn from failure. Alright, so with that, you all feel the day as the sun rises. You all are pushed into the beckoning sleep of the damned. Dreamless and quiet. Unusually so for you, Maruna. But nonetheless, the sun rises, the day begins, the day continues. As all is normal, life continues on this, I think it would technically be a Monday morning? That's right, this would be the Monday morning. So, life resumes. The weekend is over. Things return to their tracks. Until eventually the sun sets on a busy day of work. Or perhaps, for some, a day of nothing. Nonetheless, time progresses. The sun sets, and the moon rises upon the damned as they begin another night, inching closer and closer towards what may be the end for all. Well, before we do that, we're gonna cut to a quick break. So we will see our lovely audience in a little bit. Until then, don't go anywhere. Stay around, and soon we shall begin the next part of this episode. See y'all later. Alright. Hello and welcome back to House of Tremere. I hope you're ready for some more lovely trauma. Looking forward to it. With that, we jump right in. You all can spend a point of blood as you awaken for the evening. With that, what do you guys do in preparation for whatever it is you guys plan to do for the day on this Monday night?
Cass is moving. Because this is a museum and they close at, respectable hours. So our window is very small. So he is nicely dressed, nicer than he normally would. Like he's in dress pants and a button up and assorted jewelry. And comes essentially blazing down the stairs trying to find Jordy.
I feel like it's one of those things where you're rushing and Jordy's already at the door still somehow. Just,
What is Jordy wearing?
Jordy is almost always wearing like more like slacks and button ups or partial button ups. Yeah.
I won't make a comment about it then.
Yeah.
All right.
He is not he doesn't know how to relax. So I don't think you've ever seen him in jeans, for example. Yeah.
And Cass would not attempt driving the Tremere mobile because he does not have a license. And he would call a more upscale car service than a taxi.
You would probably see Hasib on the way out, like right, just slides into view. Right before you go, Cass, I already spoke to the regent about this, but I can't go to the museum, obviously, but I can be there in a way, if needed. So you have your cell phone on you?
Yes.
Well, perfect, wonderful. So I have a method to possibly still have access to their camera system. So, if you guys run into any trouble, or need insight or something, I can get back in and just let me know.
Hasib,
Yes, Cass.
how confident are you that you won't be caught?
Hasib gives a big toothy smile. I have spent a lot of time with my precautions. I did go to school, much schooling, college for this exact thing. You don't need to worry. I'm good at what I do with the computers.
He'll cast a sidelong look at Jordy. And you approved it?
I said he was welcome to speak with you. The two of you clearly know more about security than I do.
Hasib, you don't go to school for hacking.
No, but you go to school for networking, finding
On a
finding
scale
it-
of 1 to 10, how confident are you?
in what? I mean, I already placed the backdoor into their systems. I'm not even sure if Bitegeist knows. I put another one on top of the one that we were doing. The whole project was a big. I thought I was helping him secure the security on the website, the penetration test. Anyway. I like to watch the feeds sometimes to see what kind of new displays they have going in. It is fine. It is fine. I see you are concerned, and I understand. You are head of security, but I must insist. If you need assistance, I can be right there. In a way.
okay, but if this bites us in the ass, Hasib, I'm taking the computer. So
Hasib,
there are
like,
your stakes.
Hasib Flint like takes a step back, almost flinches like you struck him. Well, it's only, if you need my assistance. I don't need to be watching if you don't need help.
No, I would prefer someone watching. Just don't get caught. It's the
Oh,
age-old edict, isn't it? You can do it, just don't get caught.
right. Yeah. Of course, of course. I will be extra careful as I always have been. Okay. Sorry, I don't want to take any more of your time.
Call me if you need anything.
He nods and smiles, giving a small bow to both of you guys before quickly skedaddling off to hop onto his computer, probably.
All right. We watch as Geordie and Cass enter into what is an upscale, essentially a taxi service. A hired driver, we call it. And with that, we will cut over to Dr. Quangle and Maruna as they awaken, prepare for their specific journey. How is it they would
Maruna
prepare?
Maruna would be up. She would probably try to make sure she's wearing something inconspicuous because she is going to just be within sight in case something goes wrong and doesn't want to particularly draw attention to herself, as this is best kept as a private meeting. So yeah, she'll just be casual, unassuming.
All right.
For Dr. Quangle, he summons the ghouls to him by name, but when the ghoul that usually comes with his smoker's jacket walks up with the jacket, he'll look at him and say, "No, not this evening, George. The suit jacket. And you can leave the stethoscope here." And the ghoul will run up and bring his suit jacket, which is just a matching jacket to the slacks, to the pants that he always wears. But no smoker's jacket tonight. This is professional Quangle. And then he shoos the ghouls away. He before the event, Quang will be in his laboratory for the entire night. He's not walking around the chantry making casual conversation.
All right. I think probably Maruna would then find Dr. Quankle in his laboratory.
Yep. I'm ready when you are.
Yes. I thank you. Please close the door behind you. Come in. I must make preparations.
Alright. Close the door.
Mark, I have a ritual called the Domino of Life.
Indeed. Why don't you tell us how that ritual works for our lovely audience?
I'm bringing it up right now. Sorcery. Okay. So, a vampire wanting or needing to simulate a human characteristic can do so once the domino of life is cast. For example, for one entire night, the vampire can eat, breathe, maintain a normal body temperature, assume a human flesh tone, or display some other single trait of humankind that she desires. Only one trait can be replicated in this fashion, and I must have a vial of fresh human blood on my person to maintain this ritual. So, using this ritual adds one die to the caster's dice pool when attempting to pass as a human, unless onlookers are especially wary. The domino of life should fool them into thinking the caster is mortal, not that they should have any reason to suspect otherwise. So, yes, I want to invoke that so that I might be able to eat as regular men and women do.
With that, why don't you tell us, how does Dr. Quangle perform his rituals? Is it in more of a kind of a mystical sense, or is it more alchemical?
For this, it would be a strange mix of alchemical and mystical. They say seamanship is an art and a science, and surgery is usually a science, but this is an art and a science. So Quangle will hold up the freaking vial of blood up to the air, and behold the domino of life, he says, and I think there's maybe a flash of red light as he invokes said ritual. But it's very mystical, and those are the words he says.
What level of ritual is it again?
So this is level 1. It says attribute in willpower, perm willpower, ability none. It's a difficulty 6, and I have to roll it. But there's like
Yep.
a roll right next to it on the character sheet. So
Yeah. You should be able to do that, or you can just click on your token and then do the roll dice stuff. Select the
let's
attributes.
see. I just clicked it right there. So ritual level 1, 2 successes. Yep.
2
Two
successes. Hold on, let me see what you rolled. Sure. Starting. Rolled a 5. Okay. The ritual succeeds. As you find yourself filled with that feeling of life returning as you hold the completed domino of life within your hand. The vial of blood. It seems to pulse with living power.
All right. I will place the vial inside of on the inside I have like a suit pocket. I'll place it right there.
You can feel that odd feeling of like something stirring in your body that has not stirred for a long time.
You look almost alive.
Yes. Almost. Let us go.
All right. Are we taking the car?
No, not that car for where we're going. It wouldn't do. We'll be calling a driving service.
All right. When we get back, then I have something to speak with you about.
Yes, when we return, I'll be all ears, Marina.
All right.
Driver to the insert hotel name here.
Yes, sir. You get in the back of this car and begin to drive off into the night towards the hotel. At which point we find ourselves focusing back on Hasib, as we see him doing his preparations to his computer, loading up what programs he needs. Is there any specifically we see Hasib doing as he prepares himself for an evening of spying upon the museum?
Oh yeah, he's super excited. He's super excited to be able to finally use some of his technical skills for the clan this time. He has a couple computers that he boots up. He took a lot of stuff, a lot of scraps from his days in schooling. That a lot of it's just junk and just made for parts. But he's kind of built himself a little mini control center of sorts in one part of his room. And he has a couple flickering screens. I think we probably still have the CRT monitors. And his keyboard's clicking and clacking away as he's jumping right into some protections for himself to mask himself as he starts to dig into the back door he set up in their systems for the museum.
Right. Very nice. It is with that we pull away from Hasib. But this time, instead of pulling across the city, we pull downwards, underneath it, as we find ourselves moving through these large old sewers, eventually settling upon a room where we see these large doors have been set up and bolted shut, in which we see what looks to be a number of lights from computer screens, as we see a figure sitting within a chair, these large screens played out everywhere. On one monitor, it seems to be footage from a security camera within the city, just showing people walking about. On another one, looks to be the slowly loading image of what looks to be like a cat dancing GIF. It's like slowly loading on one of the computers. And on the center one, we just see what looks to be a figure hunched over, scrolling through what looks to be a number of different forums, just kind of clicking about. As we kind of start to get a glimpse of this enshadowed figure, we see a face that is kind of malformed, with like large teeth that are kind of sticking out. Kind of very rough-looking skin that ends in almost like these sharp claws that look like dead nails. Before we see what looks to be some sort of small control panel, a light starts blinking red. As we see the figure turn around, and we see this creepy, sharp smile appear as he goes, "Oh, good. Seems like the show is about to begin." As we watch him click around on one of his monitors, before we see an image from a security camera, as we see Geordie and Kess step into the museum. And is there we're going to end the session for today.
The cliffhanger.
We really do need a heart rate monitor
Wow.
on.
This entire session I've not been fine.
Oh,
We can trust Bitegeist. He's Hasib's online internet friend, and everybody on the internet you can trust.
Exactly. Why would people lie on the internet?
that's really bad advice.
Bad advice.
Bad
Just
advice.
stating the obvious.
Do not do this.
That's-
Do not do.
I don't know about that one, player. I don't know about
Yeah.
that one.
That's about as
Alright.
good advice as Jordy's tactics of dealing with a seizure.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
akin to
Not great.
how well
Lot-
that's going to go.
A lot of bad advice going around.
Yeah. All right. So I hope you've enjoyed watching us. We're gonna do some outros. This time we are going to start off with our dear Dr. Quankle. Cyber, why don't you give us an outro?
Howdy. I'm Cyberbro. Tonight I played Dr. Quangle, expert in matters of the flesh, the mind, and maybe the heart. Find out next session.
Indeed. We'll have to see how things go. Will an old relationship be the flame started anew? Or will it crumble further into dust? We'll see. Up next, Hasib. Zach, why don't you give us your outro?
Yes, Hasib went through a lot of interesting emotions, a lot of different hard topics. It was a blast, and I think now he gets to do something about it. He's got action after the talk, right? So can't wait for next session. Plus, now Hasib gets to be the nerd on the internet who might have an internet battle with Nosferatu, which always turns out well.
I'm sure it'd be
We'll
fine.
see what We'll see what side the Nosferatu are on, or maybe they're just watching because they watch a lot. They're kind of creepy like that.
It is a good question. Which side is the Nosferatu on? Guess we're gonna have to find
Theirs.
out later on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure we'll be able to see more of Hasib's technical skills next session. And with that, we will move on to the next person. Maruna, dear Ree, why don't you give us your outro?
Hey everyone, I'm Ree. I played Maruna, and this was, I think, the first episode of House of Tremere where I cried on stream, which is like just a thing that happens to me in most campaigns. But yay, it happened! I'm emotionally invested. Woo!
did
And yeah, so great session. Needless to say, I'm loving it. In addition to here, you can check me out on Mortal Rolls on Mondays. We do a Pathfinder 2nd edition homebrew game inspired by Greek and Roman mythology, and we're doing a sort of a mini season right now. And you can also catch me and Mark and Bob on Bob's channel for a new mini campaign that's starting this Saturday for Legends of the Five Rings.
I did the wrong thing. But yes, hopefully we will get to see more of Maruna and Maruna's strange abilities. And perhaps more cards will be drawn. I'm sure
More
that
cards will definitely be drawn.
won't create any
It's-
more problems going forward.
At least one a session, if not more.
Yes, and up next, why don't we move on to our dear Geordie? Bob, why don't you give us your outro?
Hi everyone, taking time, Bob. As mentioned, we do a whole bunch of games, including Legend of the Five Rings this Saturday. Come check that out. We do Pendragon 3 nights a week, and all the games are connected together. It's super fun. That's all I'm gonna. Oh, I'll mention TTRPG talks too. So once a month, I'm sitting down with a game designer and talking about how they got into the industry and what they're working on now and everything in between. I recently, just this week, interviewed Sandy Peterson, the creator of Call of Cthulhu. I encourage you to go check that out. And upcoming for this month, I have David Larkins lined up, the line editor for Pendragon. So, as my channel is 99% Pendragon, I will encourage you to come check that out.
Absolutely. And of course, I'm sure we will see more of Geordie's authoritarian side, and it definitely won't get him into any more trouble. I'm sure.
Never. No, not. It's a good time when the authorities collapse to cling to it, I think. So
Exactly. When the balance of power is collapsing, cling to whatever you can. With that, we move on to our last, but certainly not least player, our dear Cass. Emily, why don't you give us your outro?
Hi, I'm Emily. I played Kess, who may have broken the gargoyle. I don't know. And you can catch me on Tuesdays on one of Bob's streams, playing Summerlin Enchantment. And we're kind of in Summerlin. We're close geographically. But yeah, that's all I got.
All right. And also there's me. Hello, I'm Mark, aka the CatsMeow. This is my Twitch channel, and if you're watching on the YouTube, this is my YouTube channel. Check out the other if you haven't seen it. Make sure to follow for more. You can also subscribe to the Twitch if you want to help us out that extra little bit. Every little bit is appreciated, and soon I will have some neat rewards for those who do subscribe. So keep an eye on things. I've also got a few new series that are in the pipeline, so do stay tuned for some of those. As well, why don't you check out, I'm gonna give another shout out to Ree for the lovely artwork she does for us, as well as the lovely I forget the word every time, but the background essentially
Backdrop.
the backdrop,
Overlay?
overlay.
Overlay,
Whatever
yeah.
the word is, thank Ree for the wonderful work that she does.
Oh,
Also,
thanks.
don't forget to check out her Instagram, which should be a link in the YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube. If it's on Twitch, I'm sure someone will post the link to it. I might also set up a thing so that people can just do a thing to get the link to it. Either way, big thank you. And I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you're excited for more, and I hope you will join us next week with episode 10 as we officially reach the halfway point for this campaign. So I hope you're excited for more dastardly goodness, more horrific trauma, and of course, more dastardly Tremere. We are going to raid out. And we'll just move to the Tremere screen, and I'll play the Tremere outro as we raid out. So, bye everyone!
Bye bye.